Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. As you can see, I've got a new hair colour and it is still wet, but I'm running out of time to film this video and I air dry my hair, and I bet by the end of the video it will be dry anyway, so we're just going to roll with it. But I have an exciting announcement to make, and if you follow any of my socials you might know this already, but basically I am planning on going on an Australian working holiday visa very soon, and I've done quite a lot of preparation for this visa, and I've sort of been tracking it as I go along, making note of how much everything has cost so far and all the steps that I had to go through to get to where I am right now, ready to leave quite soon. So I thought that I would compile it all into one video if anyone else is in the same boat and looking at getting an Australian working holiday visa. I'm just going to break down what it is first of all, just in case you don't know. So an Australian working holiday visa allows you to stay and work in the country for up to 12 months. You can do the 88 days of designated work to qualify for the second year visa, which would mean that you get to stay for 24 months. However, we've not really decided if we want to do that yet, but I think maybe it would be better to get it out the way first so that you always have an option, because I also know that Christiane from Backpacking Bananas went to go and do her 88 days, but then she didn't have enough time within the 12 months at the end to fulfill the 88 days, and so she cannot ever do the second year visa, which I don't want to end up in that situation, so maybe I'll do it at the start, we don't know. The visa is for 12 months right now and we don't really have too much concrete plans. We're going to travel a little bit first. That gives you some context into what I'm doing. I'm going with my best friend Lauren. You will know her from my Thailand and Sri Lanka backpacking videos. So without further ado, let's just get started. I'm filming this in January 2023 and we are hoping to go, I'm just going to say, this month. The logical place to start when you're considering something like this is looking up the working holiday visa. I found it pretty easy to apply. If you just Google like working holiday visa, it will come up. Put the link in the description, the website that I used, because I heard other people say that there's lots of companies that will like pay them extra for them to kind of do it for you. But it was really easy. I would recommend just doing it yourself, and then you know everything that's kind of gone into the application. We have gone for, I think it's called a 417 British working holiday visa, because there are different ones for British residents and American residents or citizens. If you're from UK, you can also only do this visa up until 18 to 30 years of age. I think if you're from Canada and maybe other places, it has gone up to 35. I applied for my Australian working holiday visa on the 1st of August. I kind of wanted to get it done as soon as possible, because once you apply, then the visa is valid for a year, so I could enter the country up until August 2023, if that makes sense. I hope it does. That's the date I applied, and it pretty much bounced back straight away saying that I needed a medical evaluation, and I couldn't really find much information about this online. It didn't say why or anything, it just said I needed a medical evaluation within 28 days, and it gives you a list of places to go for the medical evaluation. So I was like, oh my god, I don't know what this is for. Feeling really stressed. You've only got 28 days to do it. Basically, I think it's because they ask you when you're applying for the visa if you have been in any country for more than 3 months, and I said yes, and I ticked Thailand, and I think that flags up as a risk for tuberculosis. Most of Southeast Asia, if you stay for more than 3 months, then they will probably ask you to do the medical evaluation for signs of tuberculosis. Australia is quite strict about the entry requirements and things like that. I was calling the Glasgow number that it gave me, it's like private medical centres, and emailing, and no response, and it was getting like closer and closer to the 28 days, and I was freaking out. I had to call the Edinburgh one, and the Edinburgh one got back to me, but the Glasgow one just basically never did. So I don't know if they're still in operation. I don't know what happened there, but I never got any response from Glasgow, so I had to travel to Edinburgh to do my medical evaluation, and my medical evaluation cost me £303, which is an extra cost that I didn't really factor in before, because obviously I didn't know that they were going to ask me to do this medical evaluation. So if you've been to Asia before travelling and you want to go to do an Australian working holiday visa, I would factor in this extra cost. So I booked in with them, everything was fine, and I went in to do my medical evaluation. From what I can remember, this was back in August. They took a urine sample from me, tested that for a bunch of things, and then I went into just like normal room, and she listened to my heart rate, blood pressure, all those normal things, looked in my ear canals, tested my like joints and my reflexes, just all like the normal stuff like that, but a more in-depth version of everything. And then the main thing that they want you to do, which I think is probably the bulk of the cost, is the chest x-ray or the tuberculosis check, I'm presuming. They took me into the x-ray room. It took about 3 minutes. They asked if I was wearing a bralette, so I didn't have to take my bra off because there's no metal in my bralette, so that might be a tip if you're going for a chest x-ray. I never heard from them again, but basically that means that everything's clear, because if they come back to talk to you about something, it probably means they found something. Then after I'd done my medical evaluation, which was on the 17th of August, so that was 17 days after I applied, which at that point I was starting to freak out because you do only have the 28 days like I said. But then after that it was pretty quickly approved. After I got approved for my visa on the 21st of August, so like the weekend after I went for the medical, and like I said, I heard nothing again from the medical, so they just passed it on straight to the visa company and they all sorted that out themselves. So I got accepted for the visa, and the visa cost me £307, which is also including the foreign conversion rate, because obviously I was paying with a British card in pounds, so they need to convert it over to Australian dollars. That is everything about the visa and the medical evaluation. If you have any other questions about that, leave them down in the comments and I'll try my best to answer those. Our second step after the visa was approved, we bought flights. We are travelling to Asia before Australia. Number one, to break up the journey a little bit. Number two, because we missed out on a couple of countries when we were doing Thailand and Sri Lanka. Lauren had other commitments, she couldn't really be as spontaneous. We decided to do Cambodia and Vietnam on the way to Australia. That is the reason for why. So we had to buy flights from Glasgow to Cambodia, which we are doing Glasgow to London, London to Malaysia, Malaysia to Cambodia. Then we were hoping to travel by land from Cambodia to Vietnam, and then we also bought flights from Vietnam to Sydney, stopping in Singapore. I hope that makes sense. We are flying the first leg through Cambodia with Malaysian Airlines, and then the Vietnam to Sydney is Scoot, which I believe is like their kind of Ryanair budget airline. We don't have any food or any TV or anything on that plane, so it's just very budget. First leg of the journey from Glasgow to Cambodia cost me £557, and the second flight from Vietnam, stopping in Singapore, going to Sydney, cost me £210, which I think is really good. And we knew that we wanted to do a couple of tours when we were in Asia and Australia, so the first one we looked at was the Australian one. You've probably heard of Welcome to Travel. They are one of the most famous Australian tour companies specialising in helping working holidaymakers, and they do a welcome to Sydney and welcome to Melbourne, and then they also do a mini pack. So the normal one is I think 8 days and the mini pack is 3 or 4 days. We decided that we would like to kind of explore Sydney mostly ourselves, so we opted to go for the mini pack. It includes like a pub crawl voucher and a guided tour and maybe a couple of other things, but most of it is like pretty relaxed, you get to do it yourself. But what we wanted to book the Welcome to Travel tour for was the support throughout the whole time that you're in Australia, helping with setting up a SIM card, a bank account for you to get paid into, because you can't get a job in Australia without an Australian bank account, stuff like tax, superannuation, which I believe is their version of a pension, and also support in helping to get you to find a job throughout the year that you are there. So basically the reason that we wanted the Welcome to Travel tour was more so the support, which is why we opted for the mini tour, which cost us £322. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you might know that I did a True Travels tour in northern Thailand in 2019, which I absolutely loved. It gave me the confidence to go back again in 2021 myself, and I just had the most amazing time. Lauren knew that. Lauren's never been on a True Travels tour, so we decided to book a True Travels tour for our time in Vietnam. We'll be in Vietnam for about 3 weeks of the month, a week in Cambodia and about 3 weeks in Vietnam, and 2 weeks of that time in Vietnam will be on a True Travels tour. And we paid £956 for the 2-week tour in Vietnam. We booked it on Black Friday, so if you're looking for any True Travels tours, they have good savings on Black Friday, so I try and wait till then if you can. Okay, so after we'd sorted all of that, the next step that we had to go through was travel insurance. Please do not go anywhere without travel insurance. I have used World Nomads. I might buy a separate one just for my gadgets because I'm traveling with a lot of gear, but I bought that up to October because we don't know how long we're really going to stay, and I don't want to waste money if I come home a little bit early, and they give you the option to extend whilst you're already out there, which I think is really good because most insurances don't do that. For my travel insurance, I paid £440 for it to last for me from January to October. I also used Black Friday to purchase my Greyhound bus pass. Greyhound buses are the main way that people travel throughout Australia when they're backpacking, and they have different routes. You can do just the East Coast, or they also offer different ways like into the outback and Northern Territory. It's a really popular way to get around the country, and you'll meet loads of friends probably doing the same thing. We have bought a Greyhound bus pass. It's for 60 days, so we have unlimited travel within the 60 days, and that cost us £214 each in the Black Friday sale. And also they teamed up with Welcome to Travel. We got an email because we had signed up to Welcome to Travel already. Greyhound was doing a 20% off, and then Welcome to Travel said if you want, we will give you an extra 5% off, and we'll send you a unique payment link so that they know that we're welcome to travel as well as Greyhound, if that makes sense. We got 25% off the Greyhound bus tour. After we booked our bus tour, we wanted to look into getting our Cambodia and Vietnam visas. I believe you have up to 30 days to travel in Cambodia and Vietnam with these visas. However, you do need to pay for them. I think you can also get them on arrival, but we just didn't want to take any chances. We bought them beforehand, and we're not going to be overstaying 30 days in either Cambodia or Vietnam anyway. If you don't know, Cambodia has got two currencies, the Cambodian riel, and also they use US dollar quite a lot. They charge the Cambodian visa in US dollars, which is $36, and that converted into £29.97 in my Monzo. The Vietnam visa I only have in pounds, so I'm not sure how much it was originally, but it came out as £22.06. They're not expensive at all, and they came back pretty much instantly within about 3 working days. My next step in preparing to basically move countries is to lower my SIM card amount. I don't want to cancel my SIM card completely because I really like my number. I've got used to it, I know off by heart, and I'm scared to cancel my SIM in case I lose my number. It's like things like that. So I lowered it to the least amount possible so that I can still keep my SIM, but without wasting unnecessary money, because obviously I'm not going to be using it. On the same note, I cancelled all my subscriptions. This is one that you might forget to do before you leave to go backpacking or travelling or moving country, but it's going to come back to bite you if you forget. I'm waving my pen around like a little lecture or something, I don't know. I would let my bank know. I did that this morning. I'm with Santander, and you can only let them know that you're going for 90 days at a time, so I kind of need to set a reminder in 90 days after I leave and update it again and tell them I'm away for the next 90 days and things like that. I don't plan on using my Santander while I'm away, but I just wanted to let them know in case I have any emergencies or I need to access that account for anything, or if I'm transferring money. It's just best to let them know anyway. I'm planning on using my Monzo when I'm away. I've got some currency out, and then obviously when I get to Australia I will be set up with an Australian bank account, and then I think after my Australian bank account I will be able to use Wise or TransferWise to transfer my Great British Pounds into that account, which will transfer it into Australian dollars. Obviously I've been to the hairdresser. I wanted a refresh before I go. New country, new era, new me. One thing that I am going to have to take with me is like a conditioner gloss to maintain it, because I'm going to be in the sun, I'm going to be in the sea, I'm going to be in the pool. This colour fades really fast anyway, which you might already know, but I'm sacrificing some space in my backpack and just taking something a little bit vain and superficial with me. I have got some currency out. My dad was kind enough to get me some Australian dollars for Christmas, which I was going to do anyway, but that just saves me a job. Cambodian riel is actually a closed currency, but like I said, they also operate on US dollars. I'm going to take out some US dollars, which I think has got a better exchange rate against the pound anyway, so even if I were to convert it into something else again, it would work better than Great British Pounds. I'm not completely clued up on that, but I just know the pound is awful right now. I'm also hoping to take some Vietnamese dong out for Vietnam. The accommodation is already paid for, some of the meals are, but I just want my own money for some meals and some spending money and alcohol and things like that. I'm booked in to go to the dentist next week, but I'm going to let them know that I will not be there for my 6-month checkup. On that note as well, I have been to the GP recently. I've picked up a year's supply of my birth control and letting them know that I will also be away for a year. And the last one, which I'm doing next week, so I'll put in a little overlay, I'm getting my brows done, I'm getting a wax and a tint, and then if you can see my nails, they are really grown out. These were like my start of December nails, so by the time I get them done it will be about 6 weeks since I had them done last. So I'm gonna get my nails done, and just like little things that will make me feel better about going away and make me feel a little bit more prepared, even if it is superficial. I hope that you found this video useful. Again, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below and I will try my best to help you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe down below because I've got some very exciting adventures on the way, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!